Listen, Google, what are you doing? You consistently release some of the most amazing AI research, and then us users, us real people, never even get to try it. You tease us with these papers and these little video clips, but we never actually ever get to try anything out. Look, all I'm saying is just one or two demos every once in a while would be great. Sure, we got Music LM, but I think Music LM was a little bit disappointing, especially in comparison to Facebook's open source Music Gen, which I just made a video about. But honestly, this paper that we're looking at today truly blew my mind from Google Research. We might actually get access to it one day. Who knows? We did get access to Music LM inside of the AI Test Kitchen app, and I think it could be a while before we see this implemented. Either way, they gave us a ton of little demos for us to listen to and be blown away by. So put on your headphones, viewers, because today we're taking a look at Soundstorm. So what is Soundstorm? Well, it's efficient parallel audio generation, and this, like I said, is a paper and a little web demo produced by Google Research. So no, there's no interactive demo for us to try out, unfortunately. Anyways, they are presenting Soundstorm, which is a model for efficient, non-auto-regressive audio generation. Soundstorm receives an input, the semantic tokens of audio LM, and relies on bidirectional attention and confidence-based parallel decoding to generate the tokens of a neural audio codec. Now, what in the world does all of that lingo mean? Well, why don't we have ChatGPT break it down for us? We're using the brand new GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K model, and I essentially pasted the entire paper inside of the system prompt, and now we're going to have this AI model explain that exact sentence for a second grader. Alright, here's the second grader explanation. Soundstorm is a computer model that can create sound without needing to wait for each sound to finish before making the next one. It takes in special symbols that represent the meaning of the sound it needs to make. It uses a special method called bidirectional attention and confidence-based parallel decoding to quickly generate the sound tokens that make up the final audio. So this is a very fast way of generating audio. What are the key takeaways of this research? Wow, as you can see, ChatGPT is just kind of doing my job here. Takes in semantic tokens, which are tokens that represent the meaning of sound as input. Very cool. Here we go. It can be used to synthesize natural dialogues with multiple speaker turns, allowing for control over the speaker identities and content of the conversation. There's our major use case here. The model can be trained on large dialogue corpora to synthesize high-quality multi-turn dialogues with given prompts. Various potential applications in text-to-speech synthesis, speech generation, and dialogue system development. Anyways, viewers, yes, it is magic, in fact. That's what we've come to realize. This is all just magic. Yeah, so compared to regressive generation approach of audio LM, this model produces audio of the same exact quality and with a higher consistency in voice and acoustic conditions, while being 2 orders of magnitude faster. 30 seconds of audio in 0.5 seconds on a TPU v4, which is very, very fast. And half a second, 30 seconds of audio. So they're essentially demoing to us today the ability of their model to scale audio generation to longer sequences by synthesizing high-quality natural dialogue segments, given a transcript annotated with speaker turns in a short prompt with the speakers' voices. So this first little demo that they are presenting to us was generated with Soundstorm, and it's pretty crazy because you can barely tell. It's literally all dialogue generated by it. Let's take a listen.
Did you hear about Google's paper on Soundstorm?
No, I must have missed it. What's it about?
Well, it's a parallel decoder for efficient audio generation. So it can even be used to generate dialogues.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like this one was generated by Soundstorm.
Wait, what?
At the end, he's like, what? I love that. I love that. It still sounds really good, though, like almost exactly like a human. I don't know, compare this to, let's say, 11 Labs. 11 Labs maybe sounds a little less natural in some ways, but this, like, you can tell it's AI generated. I don't know, viewers. I want you to compare this to 11 Labs in the comments for me. Like, let me know which one sounds better in your opinion. This can do things that 11 Labs can't do. And obviously it's faster than 11 Labs, but still I feel like it's a apt comparison. So, dialogue synthesis. This is the main kahuna here of Soundstorm. So when you couple Soundstorm with text-to-semantic modeling stage of Spear TTS, it can synthesize high-quality natural dialogues, allowing one to control the spoken content via transcripts, speaker voices via short voice prompts, and you can actually even do the speaker turns via transcript annotations. And when you synthesize this dialogue of 30 seconds, it only takes 2 seconds to generate this on the TPU v4. And obviously, when the model was training to learn how to do all of this, none of this text or voice was ever seen before, so this is brand new to the AI. Anyways, here is the script that we are providing. We're just giving the AI the script and said, hey, figure it out. And then we're also giving it this little voice prompt to base its entire text-to-speech off of. So essentially, it's cloning voices based off of this.
Where did you go last summer?
I went to Greece. It was amazing.
That's all the AI has to work off of, to clone an entire voice and create an entire dialogue. Pretty insane. And here is this text based off of this little voice prompt actually read out by the AI.
Where did you go last summer?
I went to Greece. It was amazing.
Oh, that's great. I've always wanted to go to Greece. What was your favorite part?
It's hard to choose just one favorite part, but yeah, I really loved the food. The seafood was especially delicious,
Yeah?
and the beaches were incredible.
Uh-huh.
We spent a lot of time swimming, sunbathing, and exploring the islands.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect vacation. I'm so jealous.
It was definitely a trip I'll never forget.
I really hope we'll get to visit someday.
It's so good, to be honest. Like, I don't think 11 Labs would be able to capture that level of emotion and that level of dynamicy in terms of interpreting this text. And also, 11 Labs can't copy voices that well just based off of a little voice prompt like this. I mean, that was insane. One thing I do want to note, though, was that guy, did he have a British accent?
Where did you go last summer?
I went to Greece. It was amazing.
Okay, that guy definitely does not have a British accent. So that's one thing, is it interpreted that guy of having a British accent, and I really don't think that he actually had one. So it does screw up with the voices a little bit. It's hard to tell because we aren't very used to listening to these voices in the first place, so we don't know how they're supposed to sound in every single scenario. We've got another 28-second little readout here.
Where did you go last summer?
I went to Greece. It was amazing.
Oh, that's great. I've always wanted to go to Greece. What was your favorite part?
It's hard to choose just one favorite part, but yeah, I really loved the food. The seafood was especially delicious,
Uh-huh.
and the beaches were incredible.
Uh-huh.
We spent a lot of time swimming, sunbathing, and exploring the islands.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect vacation. I'm so jealous.
It was definitely a trip I'll never forget.
I really hope I'll get to visit someday.
Wow, that one was pretty close to flawless. I mean, it's hard to tell that it's not AI generated. That's how good this speech is. And it's able to really clone those voices quite well, I think. I think it did a pretty good job. I mean, I doubt it's perfect, especially if you're the person with your voice being cloned. Like, I remember the 11 Labs cloning is very, very good. I'm sure you guys are familiar with all that. But I remember when I first cloned my voice with 11 Labs, I was like, it's close, but not perfect. And everyone in the comments was like, no, that voice cloning is perfect. You just don't know what your own voice sounds like. So, I mean, that is pretty phenomenal. Again, though, with the British accent, I'm not so convinced that this guy in the original voice prompt actually
I went to Greece. It was amazing.
has a British accent, because I don't hear it in that. Anyways, we've got plenty more examples here. So we've got another little script here. This is the voice prompt.
Something really funny happened to me this morning.
Oh, wow. What?
Again, 2 different people. It's able to pick up on where those people are supposed to end up inside of this little text dialogue, and then it generates it.
Something really funny happened to me this morning.
Oh, wow. What?
Well, I woke up, as usual, went downstairs to have breakfast,
Yeah.
started eating. Then 10 minutes later, I realized it was the middle of the night.
Oh.
Wait, that's so funny.
What's very interesting is it takes this dialogue and it interprets it in a certain way. Like, it adds in laughter much more naturally, and the laughter wasn't even called for in the script, so it's adding that own creative flair, which is very, very fascinating to me, the way that it's able to read the script and be like, oh no, we want to like have this natural sounding laughter over here, like that's normal. Anyways, those 2 voices, in my opinion at least, are extremely similar to each other, so it was able to distinguish those voices very separately in the script and final generation, which I think is pretty significant and pretty impressive.
Something really funny happened to me this morning.
Oh, wow. What?
Well, I woke up as usual,
Uh-huh.
went downstairs to have breakfast,
Yeah.
started eating. Then 10 minutes later, I realized it was the middle of the night.
Oh, no way. That's so funny.
Okay, that one was even better. You could see at the end there, it only did the second voice actor, and it really had him chuckle and laugh in a natural way. Like, that sounds real. It's so close now at the point with the audio generation sometimes with the voices that it's just like indistinguishable from like an actual human being. Crazy stuff. It's just wild. Take a listen to this one.
I am going to Istanbul for the Champions League final.
That's awesome. Who are you supporting?
I am going to Istanbul for the Champions League final.
That's awesome. Who are you supporting?
Liverpool. I've always been a big fan.
Liverpool is a great team, but I think it'll be a close match.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm super excited to be going there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Are you coming as well?
No, unfortunately, I can't.
So this is a little bit of a test for it to see how it does with stuttering and implementing stuttering in a realistic way. The stuttering sounds very much real, I think. And I love how condescending this second voice actor sounded in this specific clip when he starts laughing.
There.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Are you coming as well?
That's so funny. I mean, maybe he's just kind of joking along with her, but it sounds like slightly rude, which that makes me laugh. I don't
I am
know.
going to Istanbul for the Champions League final.
That's awesome. Who are you supporting?
Liverpool. I've always been a big fan.
Liverpool is a great team, but I think it will be a close match.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm super excited to be going there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Are you coming as well?
No, unfortunately, I can't.
I don't know. There's something about this voice actor is kind of funny. Like, especially at the end, he's like, nah, no, I can't go. All right, we've got a final one here.
I didn't sleep well last night.
Oh, no. What happened?
I didn't sleep well last night.
Oh, no. What happened?
I don't know. I just couldn't seem to fall asleep somehow. I kept tossing and turning all night.
That's too bad. Maybe you should try going to bed earlier tonight, or maybe you could try reading a book.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestions. I hope you're right.
No problem. I hope you get a good night's sleep.
Wow, okay. That was a basic conversation. Anyways, he finally got a pretty crisp and clear American accent in there, or at least the lack of an accent.
I didn't sleep well last night.
Oh, no. What happened?
I don't know. I just couldn't seem to fall asleep somehow. I kept tossing and turning all night.
That's too bad. Maybe you should try going to bed earlier tonight. Or maybe you could try reading a book.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestions. I hope you're right.
No problem. I hope you get a good night's sleep.
Very different voices there, but they both work in the situation. Again, it almost sounds completely real. I think this is the worst of the bunch, but still very, very impressive. So now we have unprompted and prompted generation. They're demonstrating the capabilities of Soundstorm to generate audio conditioned on the semantic tokens of audio LM, with and without 3-second voice prompts. Soundstorm samples different speakers in the unprompted case and maintains the speaker's voice with high consistency in the prompted case, while generating audio 2 orders of magnitude faster than Audio LM's acoustic generator. The original samples are from Libre's speech Test Clean. Cool stuff. So this is the original?
Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far, himself introduced the newcomer to me, with a side glance at his sons, which had something like defiance in it. A glance which, as I was sorry to notice, was returned with the defiance on their side by the 2 young men.
And now we can take a listen to the unprompted results.
Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far, himself introduced the newcomer to me, with a side glance at his sons, which had something like defiance in it. A glance which, as I was sorry to notice, was returned with a defiance on their side by the 2 young men.
Definitely sounds like a different speaker saying the exact same thing, so it got that dialogue definitely correct.
Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far, himself introduced the newcomer to me, with a side glance at his sons, which had something like
Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far, himself introduced the newcomer to me, with a side glance at his sons.
Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far, himself introduced the newcomer to me, with a side glance at his sons, which had something like defiance in it. A glance which, as I was sorry to notice, was returned with a defiance on their side by the 2 young men. Mr. Meadowcroft the Elder, having not spoken one word thus far.
Wow, okay, so when it's prompted, it sounds exactly the same, and unprompted just changes the voice. It honestly maintained the original speaker's voice so well there. Like, it's super clean. Scary
We shall
stuff.
be blown up, but no. The dazzling disk of mysterious light nimbly leaps aside. It approaches Hans, who fixes his blue eye upon it steadily. It threatens the head of my uncle, who falls upon his knees with his head down to avoid it.
We shall be blown up, but no. The dazzling disk of mysterious light nimbly leaps aside. It approaches Hans, who fixes his blue eye upon it steadily.
We shall be blown up, but no. The dazzling disk of mysterious light nimbly leaps aside. It approaches Hans, who fixes his blue eye upon it steadily.
We shall be blown up, but no. The dazzling disk of mysterious light nimbly leaps aside. It approaches Hans, who fixes his blue eye upon it steadily.
Wow, that's like straight up voice cloning there. Pretty insane. I mean, in the future, you could think technology very similar to this. They released the paper so we know what the research is, and people can develop research similar to this. You could just change your voice to sound exactly like someone else very clearly. I mean, it's doing a great job. You don't hear high quality voice transformation like this very often in the AI space right now.
We shall be blown up, but no. The dazzling...
And that literally just sounds...
We shall be blown up.
Exactly like the first one. They're indistinguishable.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie.
Yeah, the seconds are exactly the same for all of these, even though they're different voices saying the words.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie.
That's crazy. So, I mean, think about it. You could rap God in your own voice because it knows to make all of the words exactly the correct length.
My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie.
The law of that school is that everything shall be seen clearly.
The law of that school is that everything shall be seen clearly.
The law of that school is that everything shall be seen clearly.
The law of that school is that everything shall be seen clearly.
The law of that school is that everything shall be seen clearly.
Wow. I mean, it's the same thing over and over, just perfect replication with a different voice. When generating audio in the prompted case, Soundstorm generations have higher acoustic consistency and preserve the speaker's voice from the prompt better than Audio LM originally did. Compared to RVQ level-wise greedy decoding with the same model, Soundstorm produces audio with an overall higher quality. So this is a little comparison. Again, this is the original audio.
He must descend with his heart full of charity and severity at the same time, as a brother and as a judge, to those impenetrable casemates, where crawl pell-mell those who bleed and those who deal the blow, those who weep and those who curse, those who fast and those who devour, those who endure evil and those who inflict it.
That's gotta be straight out of the Bible, right? I mean, that's what that sounds like to me. Anyways, Audio LM's replication.
He must descend with his heart full of charity and severity at the same time, as a brother and as a judge, to those impenetrable casemates, where crawl He must descend with his heart full of charity and severity at the same time.
Yeah, greedy's not that great.
As a brother and as a judge, to those impenetrable casemates, where crawl pell-mell those who bleed.
Yeah, it just sounds a little screwy.
He must descend with his heart full of charity and severity.
And we know that Soundstorm is perfect. So Soundstorm's about as good as Audio LM, but it's just like twice as fast, which is great. And again, they have all of these different demos.
A quarter of an hour afterwards, he returned to the theater. A quarter of an hour afterwards, he returned to the theater.
Wow, okay, so that one...
A quarter of an hour afterwards, he returned to the theater.
Yeah, this one sounds a little bit more accurate to the original than Greedy did. So Greedy's obviously the worst out of the bunch here. Still pretty good though, honestly. I'm pretty shocked by how good this Greedy model is, but Audio LM, obviously about the same quality as Soundstorm, but Soundstorm is just way faster. And Soundstorm can do things that Audio LM previously couldn't, such as replicating these voices almost perfectly immediately, which is pretty mind-blowing. So viewers, will Google ever release this research for us? Will we ever get to experience the beauty of their models? Well, I thought that Audio LM would never come out, but Audio LM was brought to us via the Google Test Kitchen. And obviously Google released their Bard model, and now they have their generative search features and all that, but I mean, that makes sense because they have to keep up with Microsoft, right? Because Microsoft's Bing AI is kind of taking the internet by storm in some ways. I mean, most people still use Google, right? Because a lot of people are scared of AI chatbots or just don't even know they exist yet. Anyways, that was a unnecessary little tangent. I do think it's possible for us to see Soundstorm come to Google's AI test kitchen. The voice replication is really, really good. I think Google likes to nanny their AI products for sure, even more so than OpenAI. So I don't know. The voice replication almost is too good for them probably to give it to us. Even though we have nearly perfect voice replication available with 11 Labs already, Google still won't take any responsibility. They won't release anything. So I don't know. I think we're going to see something like this come out where maybe you can speak a sentence into the AI bot and then use a pre-selected voice to generate that same exact speech in that pre-selected voice instead of, you being able to generate new text with your own voice. Either way, really, really cool stuff. Tell me what you viewers think down in the comments below. One thing that comes to mind, honestly, is, people who have the disability where they need a little amplifier that they hold up to their throats. Think about it. You could train an AI on their very own voice and then have them speak into it, and it would just sound like their voice did beforehand if they lost their voice previously. Pretty cool. You would only need like a 3-second clip of their voice to replicate it almost perfectly. And there are probably thousands of other use cases that I'm just not thinking about at the moment for this, of course. I don't know, viewers. What do you think? Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.